Feral Friday is a podcast about dark romance and monster smut. So if you're not down for weird shit, this is not the show for you. Content may include explicit sexual description, explicit language, conversations about human to human monster, and monster to monster sexual activities. Masturbation, questionable consent, morally gray ethics, murder out of jealousy, BDSM themes and tropes, fictional pregnancy, violence, emotional gut-wrenching story arcs, and all of the kinks. Oh, and dubious insertion of inanimate objects. We're multicultural, multipolitical, multisexual, multiracial group. We believe in inclusiveness, body positivity, bodily autonomy, and human rights for all. But we also like talking about characters getting railed by monsters and humans alike. Overall, prepare for cackling, tangents, general unhinged commentary. We're probably going to annoy the majority of the general population, but if you don't like it, instead of clutching your pearl necklace, you can just not listen. Okay, thanks, bye!
The water rippled toward me, and the shadow of a large figure blotted the already dark depths to an inky black. Fear shot through me, but I still couldn't run. I was terrified, and yet strangely curious enough to want to find the siren who had called to me with that eerie song. A large claw that resembled a tree root gripped the marsh bank, and I stumbled back. It was all I could do as the figure emerged from the water. A woman, no, a creature, stood 2 steps from me. It was hard to tell in the dark, but where the moonlight shone on her skin, I could see that it took on the hue of pale seagrass. Water dripped from her seaweed hair and down the prominent structures of her collarbones. I followed the path of those water droplets all the way down to her tits. I tried to look away, but they were so round, so lovely, and unlike anything I'd ever seen before, where her dark green nipples were caught in the wild tangle of her hair. Her fingers, most of them unfurling into vines edged with leaves, except for her middle and index digits that were capped with sharp black claws, drew a line from the mossy thatch at the apex of her thighs to the ends of her hair, which she parted. The movement revealed a face full of sharp features, a wide open mouth of emerald lips framing too many razor-sharp teeth, and glowing eyes that were cobalt all the way through. "So you're what's keeping me here waiting," she hissed into the night. And that was She Came from the Swamp, a steamy monster romance from the Dreamers and Demons Sapphic Monsters book, number 1, by Darva Green.
Hi, I'm Sara 2, and I am reading Forbidden Part 1 by Emilia Emerson.
Hi, I'm Sara 1, and I'm reading an arc of How to Marry a Lich by Lizzie Strong.
Hi, I'm Marie, and I'm reading Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton.
Hi, I'm Kitty, and I am reading Rosemary for Remembrance by Rubber Soul 02.
I'm Ivy, and I'm reading Breath Mints / Battle Scars by Onyx and Elm. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of Feral Friday Podcast, Unhinged and Unbothered, a podcast where we talk about smut. Can I just say how much I hate the word thatch?
It's terrible.
It makes me think of Trogdor.
Okay, why were her middle and pointer finger sharp? Why were those capped and sharp?
And don't put that in my vagina.
That is kind of the opposite of what you normally
I was going to say, isn't it normally like lesbian lore that those with the fingers that are short?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the rest of them are vines, but those were sharp. Interesting. I didn't read that book. I don't know if anyone else did.
I didn't either.
No one? Okay. Well, that's okay.
No.
So I'm glad Aaron did.
For a second, I was intrigued. Maybe I'll read this.
I know.
I thought it was mermaid stuff for a second. And then I'm like...
I also might read it. The cover actually looks like cute. It was called, She Came from the Swamp. It's only 110 pages long, so...
All right.
It wouldn't be terrible.
It's like a half-hour investment.
Yeah, not bad at all.
You can read 110 pages in a half hour.
I cannot.
Ivy is... I don't know if you know this about Ivy, but Ivy reads so fast. Like...
So fast.
They are such a fast reader.
I'm impressed.
I can read Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in 8 hours in a workday.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
Like
I read about 100 pages an hour.
they read fast.
Wow.
They read so much faster than me. I just read a lot. Like I spend a lot of time reading, but Ivy is like.
I get
Speedy
distracted
quick.
a
You
lot.
don't
I have to take
sleep,
breaks.
kitty.
No, I
Right.
don't sleep. No. Good point.
I
I'm
need
so
sleep. I go to
jealous.
bed early.
I need to go to bed early.
My reading time is
Er.
limited because I'm just like, well, 9:30, bye, and I'm out for the
So,
day.
Ivy, I do have to ask: are you like reading, or are you like skimming through the conversations and the dialogue?
No, I'm reading. That's my superpower. I'm just blessed.
That's amazing.
It is
I'm
amazing.
so jealous.
I love it.
That is a talent. Yeah,
I want that.
man. I do want that.
On my Christmas list, thank you, Santa, Krampus. Please bring this to me.
Yeah.
Faster
Dear
reading eyes.
Krampus.
I have heard that if you listen to an audiobook while you're reading, you can speed up the audiobook and you can train your eyes to read faster that way. If
God
you like,
forbid that I would be
intense.
unstoppable.
yeah, you would be. I mean, I already listen to audiobooks at like
Do
1.5, 1.7, so maybe this is how we all unlock new superpowers.
It
this
literally
year.
never occurs to me to speed up the audiobook.
Oh my
Never
God.
once occurs to me. I listen to
Sarah,
it at
There are some
normal
narrations
pace.
that are just they take forever.
And
I
like
know.
they do that on purpose, I think, to like, enunciate and talk clearly, but like speed her up. Speed her
I
up.
accidentally listened to a podcast yesterday at a slower speed, and I was like,
Oh,
"What the fuck are they on?"
Oh no.
Voices were so deep, and I don't know what happened. And I finally went and looked at the speed, and I was like, "Oh, it's at like 0.7."
Oh God.
It was like,
Oops.
I have
"Hey,
done that
how's it
before."
going?" I was like, "Are they high?"
Maybe.
Like Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Story speaking whale.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
we
Well,
are on a tangent.
We are.
Yeah.
So we're
I
gonna
know.
get
So
on topic.
We're gonna bring
here.
it back.
We are.
And our topic is
This week we are focusing on sapphic love, women loving women, or AFABs. This also included, well, I guess there were no non-binary characters that were main characters in our books, but we did have books with non-binary characters, which was also very much appreciated. Love that. And
Very much.
yeah, I know the what was the name of it? The Not So Yours Truly. I really loved how the main character's sibling
Yes.
was non-binary, and I thought they did that so well. It was so good. So we read collectively a few books that featured sapphic relationships, and we're just going to talk about the ones that we read. And we have some things to say, so buckle up.
There are thoughts
Thoughts
and opinions.
Yes. So the first one that we're going to talk about here was called Little Green Vines by Britt Andrews. And as always, these books are all available on Kindle Unlimited. This one was 43 pages. So
that's why we all read it.
it's why we all read it. I was not expecting any
No.
of what we found.
Mm-mm.
Would anybody like to share their favorite part of that book?
Favorite?
If you had it could be a favorite derogative, or favorite positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I would like to discuss. This
Uh-huh.
is not a favorite. It
Okay.
kind of made me feel weird. Was that once we met the sex demon
The demon
of the woods.
Yeah.
The way that they masturbated was they made flowers grow up from the ground that were in such a shape that it was like they could lick her vagina. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, that is a stretch. Like, I know this is fantasy.
Very Alice in
Obviously,
Wonderland.
it's not real life. But, like, that's
Yeah.
not a lot of friction. That is not a
Okay.
lot of... oomph.
I also had questions about that whole scene because, like, the author took note to, like, describe how the demon was sitting in the chair with the holes in it, which I thought we were going, the special chair for her vagina. And then, but then, like, the girl, that whole scene, I was like, this does not make sense. No. It does not make sense.
I wanted to know more about that chair, because that chair seems like it could be
just glossed right over it.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, here's a chair with holes in it for their vag, and that was all that was mentioned.
I don't know that it was holes. I think it just had 2 slats for her, like, legs and butt cheeks to sit on, and then it had like an opening so that, like, her whole canyon was accessible.
Are you writing smut now? Her canyon.
Her canyon
was deep and wide.
Yes. Yeah, that did not make sense to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna rewind a little bit in that story and go back to the infamous cucumber that was apparently quite large that she snapped off the vine and then proceeded to masturbate with. She did not wash it.
No, she didn't.
Not only did she not wash it, I was very concerned that she's like, I'm picking these to sell at the farmer's market. I'm like,
so I was like, is she still going to sell this? Or
thank you.
Is she going to put it into her own personal collection to use later?
Well, it's gonna rot.
Use it again?
Don't save it.
Don't
save it.
Either use it again or wash it off.
Don't.
Because I'm like, she's poor. She's using food. Yeah. You have fingers, woman.
Yes, but they're not the same
but she didn't
wash
as
a nice size
She didn't
cucumber.
Take, like, snippers and make sure that the little stubs on the end were snipped off properly. So she could have gotten, like, cucumber nub stuck up her fucking snatch. These are the details I'm worried about. And then when she was done, she just chucked it off into the woods, and all I could picture was some squirrel eating her snatch-covered cucumber.
Well, instead, we have
they don't care.
Mrs. Sex Demon using it as a snack.
And licking it like a lollipop.
No.
Which
it was so bad.
Scenarios could probably be sexy if it was consented to. Right? Like if you're doing food play on purpose, that could be a thing. If both people are into it, whatever floats your boat. If that gets you off, fine. But there was no consent here. Literally.
No. Yeah.
But she just chucked the damn thing into the forest. And then it showed up later.
I preferred that.
I did prefer that to the previous options I thought she had. I was like, cool, she chucked it away. But then my brain still went to forest animals eating it, and that grossed me out.
Ivy, what were you saying?
Oh, how, we said she chucked it into the woods, and I said, like a certain someone with crystals.
Oh.
Called out. We won't name any names.
Don't do that.
Called out.
Don't do that.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. It kind of was like that. The cucumber showing back up in the story, that was not. No, I did not like that at all. When the demon was
how
like,
did they get it?
Here.
I know you're a demon, but how did you get it? But like,
she
where were you?
She was everywhere, Sarah. She was everywhere. Her magic was everywhere. She was
part of the forest.
Yeah, she was chasing her. I don't even remember what the main character's name is in this book.
Did they
obviously
have any?
I don't know actually. Oh, Iris.
No, Iris and Poppy.
Poppy.
How did you forget that kitty?
I have no idea. It's my dog's name.
She probably blocked it from her memory. She's like,
on purpose.
Besmirch the name of Poppy.
Yeah, so, but like when Iris was like chasing Poppy through the forest to like get her to where she wanted her to go. Yeah, just this whole book. The spying on people as they're masturbating. I mean, we don't like that at all.
I will say the lavender colored cum was something I had never read before.
I did appreciate that.
It was
I
refreshing.
liked it. It was a nice color.
If I could choose a color, I would choose lavender.
Yeah. Okay, but what did we think about the demon tail that the cum came
Oh, I did not
from?
like that. No.
No.
I was kind of into it.
No.
I was like, I need fan art, first of all.
Right.
Just
because the shape of the tail, I was like, that sounds awful.
It's, yeah, and like I'm pretty sure they use the word orifices. Maybe? I don't know.
Its
Or
own
maybe
I
that's
mean, she
just,
puts it in her...
yeah.
Ugh, yeah, that was gross. I didn't like that sentence.
It was...
It gave me Cotillo vibes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an interesting bunch of words that you put together. Thank you.
Oh.
The other thing that this book reminded me of a little
Uh-huh.
was when we read The Four Horsemen.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How?
Famine
How?
that controls because famine
Oh.
controls
Oh, my God.
the plants, and he uses them as bondage.
Oh, right.
And he like ties her
That's
up.
amazing.
Yeah, which is what this girl does too.
I had
I
forgotten.
did
a great
also
reference.
just read another book or listened to it that had a similar situation going on there with a God of the Wild. So I did
took it
like
on
that
my
part.
TV. Oh.
Yeah.
Basically, all
Pretty
the books
hot.
I've read recently have, like, rope play in them. Like, every
Mhm.
single one.
I'm down.
I like it.
I
I-
love that for you.
I
It's like
didn't
3
love
for 3
how
of the last 3 books.
Yeah, I didn't love how like this was very. I guess it did say at the beginning that there was DubCon. I
Mhm.
think that was a TW.
I think so. Yeah.
But it felt even more non-con than DubCon to me, and I was like,
yes.
It was like forced consent.
yeah, like
like even
Like,
at the
you're
end,
doing
it was
this.
like
No.
Yeah, you're not going back.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't like
I was
that,
like, you're just gonna waste
Didn't
all her
like that.
vegetables that she left behind.
right? Her livelihood.
Yeah.
Okay, also we have to talk about the crystal that was used
Oh.
as
Don't put
an
crystals in
anal
your
toy.
hoo-ha.
Don't
Don't
put them
crystals
anywhere.
anywhere inside your body.
Nowhere.
Don't
Not
put
your
them in
ass.
your body.
Not your
even if they have a flared base.
vagina. No.
Nope.
Don't do
No
it.
crystals. Don't do it. And this
But
this
what if it's
demon-
magically created
No. I don't
just
care.
No.
for her?
No. Don't care. Don't do it.
I don't trust it.
No.
I think that you're gonna get
it's demon-
poisoned somehow.
It's demon made.
Is there a guarantee? 90 day money back
still don't
guarantee on
want-
that?
A rock in my butt? No. I don't want that. That doesn't sound nice.
Glass is the only thing that would come close, and it
Yeah.
needs to be like a nice, thick, sturdy, like
Right.
made for that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Please don't put random things in your butt, people.
No,
Please don't.
don't. It's just
Including
better not
cucumbers.
to.
Remember-
Be embarrassed. Don't,
Yeah.
don't do cucumbers.
Bottom will
Oh.
suction,
Don't.
and it will get lost.
Let's let's not do that. Let's
Can
just
you
save.
imagine a
Hot
cucumber
tips
rotting in your
from Feral
hoo-ha?
Friday.
Oh
No.
no, let's not.
No.
Sarah.
I'm still
Let's
stuck on
not.
this.
I know. When I was reading that scene, I was just imagining like the top of the cucumber, the like little part that's like brown
Yes.
usually, and is prickly, and I was
Yes. Like
You
I'm
just-
worried about the shaping, the abrasion,
Yes.
the like micro cuts. Like some
So many things.
cucumbers even have like little sharp little warts on them. Like not warts, but like
Yes.
they're ridges.
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking of, yeah.
like sometimes
know-
they.
It was unwashed.
Yeah.
I think that some thoughts should stay inside thoughts.
My intrusive thoughts are how unclean things are, and they shouldn't go in your hoo-has.
Mm.
Alright, you fucking Virgo.
Yes, this is my problem.
Yes.
I can't help it.
I say that with love. I'm joking.
I know. This is my brain 100% of the time. Don't put that in your hoo-ha all the time.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So yeah, A Little Green Vines was a miss for me. Did not love it.
At least it was short, so like you didn't feel like you wasted too much of your life.
Yeah.
Also,
I was entertained.
this woman also fell down an embankment, walked into a cabin, and was like, "Sure, I'll eat your food and drink your water without any questions."
And that
She
is
did.
like
Your vagina
by
immediately.
fairies.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot. And like the pacing of the book was also not great. Like the first few pages were just info dump. And it was like, what is going on? And then it felt like it was somebody completely different writing it after like chapter 3 or something. Like I was like, something is different here.
The
Interesting.
tone has changed.
Yes.
It just
definitely
wasn't great.
changed.
At least
No.
the grammar continued being consistent throughout.
Yeah, it actually wasn't bad
True.
grammar.
That's true. Yeah,
I think I was
grammar
so
was
horrified by things happening, I forgot to look at that. Stuck on the
You know.
cucumber.
Yeah. Ugh. So yeah, that was the first one we read, Little Green Vines.
Starting
It
with
was
a
the-
bang.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It was still like, it's 43 pages or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I read it during the Super Bowl. It was great. Like
Yeah.
Same.
It was something to read for sure.
Yeah.
So the next one that I think more of us read was A Little Taste of Need by Cleo Evans. And I do have to apologize because some of these books were in the middle of series. And I was just like, here, we're going to read these
We're
anyway.
going to talk about that.
I know.
We're going to talk
On the
about
next
We
that.
one.
are. I was very confused. I kept going back. I'm like, did I miss
No.
who this person was?
This book
And then I realized.
This book was number 7 in a series, but it did work pretty well as a standalone. Yeah. Like there wasn't too much that was like, oh, okay.
It actually got me intrigued. Now I want to read the rest of them because I
Same.
want to
Yeah.
find out.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like this one a lot,
Me
actually.
too.
did too.
It was a really easy read. Like the writing was very,
Mm-hmm.
very easy to read. What did we think of the love interest? Our monster.
I was very
That was
intrigued.
interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, where are the orifices?
Yeah. Yes.
So their first encounter when she was like, do you want to learn my anatomy? I was like, yes, I do. I would like to know because I don't know how this is gonna work. So I appreciated the anatomy lesson on that.
Yeah.
Um,
To be clear, the love interest in this one is what's referred to as a Naga, Naga. She's like a snake woman, which I was a little unclear if she had legs and a tail, or if it was just a tail.
I
Because
think it's just the tail.
okay, that's what I thought. But then they were
Yeah.
talking about like walking up the stairs, and I couldn't imagine how she walked up the stairs. And so I was like, nope, she has legs now. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Little
here.
salamander legs.
I was like,
No.
how is
I
this
pictured-
working?
I basically pictured her as like a centaur. So like top half was human,
What?
bottom like a centaur. Like a top half was
Yeah.
human, bottom half was snake.
Oh,
like
okay,
so, but didn't have
okay.
legs.
That is, I believe, how it's described.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of thought of Nagini from Harry Potter,
Mhm.
just like giant snake with like,
Yeah. Yeah, so that.
and then the human mate. I was very intrigued by like the hypnosis portion of it. I kind of like that. I'd be down.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I did think that this book also had under negotiated kink. Like, I don't know. I guess I just like everyone to really actually consent to everything that's going to happen. And I felt like in this book we had like overarching themes of like, yeah, sure, I'm okay with this. But then like, oh, here we go, 180. We're moving right into hypno.
Question. Right, if you're under hypnosis, is that consent? Like, can you give consent? No.
No, absolutely not.
Like, inherently no, right?
No, no.
So she kind of gives consent. They have like a little conversation at the beginning, but they don't go very clear into boundaries.
No.
She does get a safe word, but it is very it's unclear as to whether you can actually give that safe word under hypnosis or not.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting, and that was like their first sexual encounter. Like they just went straight into hypno, and like as the top, like I thought that she maybe shouldn't have like I don't know. I thought that was weird that like she's like, oh, here are your 4 options of things we can do. Let's go to the most extreme one.
Yeah, offering hypnosis is one of the options.
Yeah,
First,
like when you haven't done anything together before. It was not my taste, but I thought it was written fine. Like, and the hypno was interesting, but I was like, let's get a few more pages in before we try this. Yeah,
I mean, but they also pack in a whole, you're my mate, I love you, within a week, you're gonna be mine forever.
Yeah.
In like 50 pages.
Right. Yeah, you're also dealing with like a love at first sight situation too. So clearly, like we knew as the reader that both of these women were in love at first sight. So like that was that layer, like being like the observer. So yeah, it was interesting.
I think that the process that they go through with like the matchmaker and the barista, given I don't have any other context in the series except this particular book, kind of makes it seem like once you contact the barista to set you up and match you up with someone, it's because this is what you're looking for and this is your end goal.
Yeah.
So I don't find it odd that they went so hardcore so quickly. But that was quite a bit.
Yeah, it was. It was very fast. But again, like by the end, Marcus.
That is Sarah's cat. For anybody that's not aware.
Ready to punt him.
It's okay. It's okay. He's so cute. He can't help
it. We
himself.
are talking about pussy tonight, so it's fine.
It's true. It's appropriate.
Ooh, that was amazing.
That was smooth.
Smooth and silky. All right. Yeah, I got that as we read kind of into the story, more talking about the barista and the matchmaking, is that the barista made these matches based on what everybody was looking for.
Yeah.
So the consent was kind of implied to begin with. Is it dubious? Yes, but
I like that concept. That's clever.
Yeah.
Like the barista concept is pretty clever. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is really cool. I
didn't read this book, so
I really want to go back and like read the rest of the series and get to know the other couples. It gave me like kind of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, like it had some cozy small town.
Yeah, small town vibes, like monsters. Like the barista basically is pairing humans and monsters together. Humans in general don't know about the monsters. There are certain monsters in the world that don't agree with this. So there's this kind of like backstory of potentially like some kind of battle or political situation, coming down the line because of that. Because the devil, Satan, Lucifer doesn't like it. And Lucifer and the barista used to date. That's what I picked up on.
Yeah, that's what it seemed
But I do think it's adorable that it's like he's the barista. He literally runs a coffee shop.
Yeah.
I think that's what gave me the most Gilmore Girl vibe.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they're like gathering in the coffee
And he did
shop,
have
the
like
little
so
Luke
cute.
Dane's vibes where he's kind of grumpy, but also a little bit of a cinnamon roll and like cares about everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love a good kind of like small town community vibe in these types of stories. Like I love the smut and I love the sex, but I also like these oddball characters just to kind of like break it up a little bit. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I will say the only other thing I wrote down for this one was that there were 2 parts of this book that made me think, oh, is this a weird reference to 50 Shades of Grey? And that
where they go into the room?
That was the room, was the first one. And then this whole scene where she gets kidnapped and the knife and like in her apartment. Like, I don't know what I was like, this feels like, granted, it's been like a very long time since I read 50 Shades of Grey, but I was like, I'm pretty sure this is...
I've seen this before.
Yeah, this is interesting. And especially after the room thing, I was already thinking about it. So I was like...
Okay, but this also sounds
Shades
like the
isn't all
next
that
book on our
original,
list.
No. What was that, Sarah, too?
It also sounds like the next book that we read. Like, there's so many things that you're saying that I'm like, oh yeah, and that was in Not So Yours Truly.
Yeah. They are the same author.
They are by the same author.
Oh, are they?
They're in different universes, but they are by
different
the same
series?
author.
Okay.
Yes, different series. Yeah. Yeah. But I gave this one, Little Taste of Need, 4 stars. I liked it.
I did too.
Yeah. Yep.
I liked it.
Yeah, and I'll be going back and starting at book 1. I mean,
Only
for
6 to catch up on.
122 pages, I was like, they stuck a lot of plot in here.
They did.
And a lot of smut. I was like,
Yes.
how? I mean, she did not waste any words.
No.
Like, there was always something happening. So I was really impressed that she was able to stick so much in this book.
Yeah. So
impressive.
So I read this one, and then I moved on to one called Witching Moon by Poppy Woods, which I don't think anyone else read that one. Oh, you did? I didn't finish it. I got 47% through, and I was like, there's too much plot here. I can't do this. I was like, I need more
There
smut.
was a lot more plot than smut,
Yeah.
and it was very cutesy at the end.
Oh,
I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and
It
finish
was
it.
nice.
Yeah. That one was 196 pages, so it was the longest one in our little list. It was a standalone, and it was not monster, it was, what would you call it? Paranormal.
Witches and deities. It's paranormal. It's a witch that has no affinity, that comes from a family where everybody's like overpowered. The only reason she doesn't have an affinity is because she's something that history has forgotten. She goes to do a Yule blessing, subs a few things that she's missing for the wrong herbs, and instead ends up summoning the moon.
as a beautiful woman.
Like, the goddess, Luna, appears in her living room and is bound till the end of the solstice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the people that want to steal the overpowered person's power for themselves because they're greedy. So Luna gets kidnapped, and then they have to go save her, and then the antagonist ends up being somebody that you kind of expected or not expecting. Whole little plot twist at the end.
Also a plot point in Not So Yours Truly.
I didn't read that one, so I'm not sure.
Weird. I'm like 50%
All
done
these
with
books
Not
are
So
kind
Yours
of the
Truly.
same.
Which, like, that is an interesting conversation, like, about, like, where sapphic romance is in the world of books. Like, it would be nice if we had more options, more diversity, more everything. But at least we do have some options for monster romance.
And it's not terrible.
No.
Like,
well, Little Green Vine was pretty terrible, but the others...
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
Yeah, Not So Yours Truly was the only other one I read, and it was good. now, especially that I understand, it's like number 7 in a series.
Yeah, and that one did not work as a standalone.
Oh my god, I'm reading it and I'm like, she is just dropping character names with no backstory, and there's so many characters. I was so frustrated.
I did read the first book in that series because I got it in a Stuff Your Kindle day last summer, but there's 3 books in between that one and Not So Yours Truly, so there was still a lot that I was like, I don't know. Skipping that.
I was like, she is missing a lot of details and just
Yeah.
skipping right over them.
What is happening?
What's going on?
But that one,
This
so
is
Not So
bad
Yours
writing.
Truly, yes, also by Cleo Evans. This one was 172 pages, and this one was sapphic and poly. Has 3 people,
Omegaverse.
and it's Omegaverse, which they did some interesting things for Omegaverse this series, which I do remember this from the first book too. That I thought were interesting that aren't like in this book. Like, there's the witch is an Omega, but her mates, neither of them are alphas. They're just monsters.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
true.
With knots.
That actually didn't occur to me.
No, so they're both AFABs, the vampire and the orc, and in this Omegaverse, nobody grows a dick. We haven't read actually any of those. Oh, we need
I'm sorry, is
need
that-
to find one. That's
Yeah,
a
is
thing.
that a thing?
Wait,
Where
they grow a dick?
Yeah, where female alphas will like their
What?
clit becomes a dick.
Oh.
It's
What?
fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, we gotta find one of those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put Aaron onto
Is
that
that
job.
in the same section as butt babies?
Yeah, it is.
I haven't read one of those yet, but I know they
Also
exist.
called M-Preg.
Sorry.
That was
So
that reindeer
for-
one from December. And,
Yeah,
For
I
March,
didn't.
do
I
we
didn't end up
do
reading that one.
Too
M-Preg
much for
March?
me.
M-Preg March. Oh my god. Robin would kill us if we tried to do that.
She would? I'm
I
gonna
think
try to
that's
make it
my
happen.
line. I can barely handle pregnancy and like hetero
Women.
relationships. That reindeer
Here's
one
a
that we
bingo
read in
card of
December.
M-Pregs.
I will.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
I didn't either.
No.
But I've
Oops.
read books with it, and I'm not opposed to it.
I got some Stuff Your Kindle Day stuff that was tagged as M-Preg. I was like, you know what?
Oh,
Happening.
go Sarah. Go Sarah.
I haven't
You
read
don't
any.
know
I haven't
until
read
you know.
any.
You know?
It wasn't the worst
Yeah,
thing
try
I
it
read,
out.
but it just wasn't for me.
It wasn't for you. That's totally fair.
That's fair.
Totally
No.
fair.
Something about a man
Um,
birthing a child through his butthole is just.
I mean, childbirth is similar to shitting out a watermelon.
Yeah.
It's
Coming
pretty
from the
close.
person
There
that has a
was-
child,
There
it's pretty
was,
close.
you would know.
There was a little bit of glee in, like, envisioning a man dealing with that.
Mm,
The pain.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not that I've
Yeah.
experienced it, but I was just. It was just weird.
They could do the work. That's fine.
Valid. Valid.
But you know me, I don't like breeder kink, so don't listen to me and my opinions on MPreg.
It's fine.
Well, that's
it's
how-
fine.
Isn't that how Not So You're not with M-Preg, but Not So Yours Truly kind of had like a, oh, we're gonna have kids, like.
I
thrown
didn't
in at
finish
the
it,
end?
so I don't know.
I think
but
so.
I could see that.
No,
Yeah,
that
was
was
another
Little
book,
Green
but I feel
Vines.
like
That was
Was
Little
it?
Green
Huh?
Vines.
she talks about
Oh.
like wanting to have children.
Yeah, and she can impregnate her with her tail.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Mm.
Yeah,
That's a
neither
thing.
the
Makes sense,
vampire nor the orc seem to have semen capabilities in Not So Yours Truly.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, and the vampire drank a lot of her blood, like an alarming
Yeah.
amount of her blood.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't give like measurements, but the number of times I was like, you're going to kill her. She's gonna die.
Yeah.
She getting
Stop.
blood transfusions on the side?
And they didn't tell us
Like,
about that.
Stop.
If she was. Yeah. And that was another one I thought, I was like, this is maybe a little bit of a theme here. Again, the under-negotiated kink in Not So Yours Truly. Like, again,
Right.
like they
I'm
did
gonna tie
sit
you
down
up.
and
Oh, okay.
yeah, they did sit down and have a conversation. But again, it was like the Omega was kind of just like, oh, like whatever. I don't really have any like
Right. I'm a
limits
virgin.
except for don't leave me alone. She did not say that.
I think she was just like, yeah, I've never.
Oh, like
maybe I'm
she's
thinking
never
of the
like
Living Vines again. Right, like she has no prior experience,
Yeah.
so she just like sounds
Yeah.
great.
yeah,
Let's
and
try
she
it.
was like, she did say that about just like kink in general, but then she was like, my only things are like, don't leave me alone in a room or don't leave me alone in the dark, which like, okay, yeah, those are both like very valid. But then like again, it was just like a blanket like, yes, you can tie me up. But no
Do you know
no
what that
other
means?
talking. Like not like they just, I don't know. Again, I was like, this is, and like at one point then like the
very
orc
quick
like
to just be like, yep.
yeah, like then the orc just like throws a collar on her like and like is like like dragging her by it, and I'm just like, again,
Oh,
like
boy.
not that I don't have a problem with any of these things, but
if that just got thrown at me, I'd be like,
I'm a person that needs a lot more communication before anything happens. I'm like, no, we're gonna talk about everything before.
Like, for example, Company of Fiends does an amazing job
Yes.
in bringing in the bondage and the harness and the conversation about where do we stand and all of that. Sounds like this book didn't quite hit that mark.
No, and again, like these are very short books, so like I understand that like maybe the author is just trying to like have representation.
Maybe just throw a
like,
sentence in there, and then they had a 30-minute dialogue about consent.
Right.
Like
anything.
Right.
Like they planned this scene. Anything. No. So I was a little disappointed.
Underline the fact that they needed to have the conversation. Like, no, before we do anything, we have to have a talk. So like they kind of like emphasize that point, but then the talk was just like, yeah, okay, sounds great.
It was just a talk to have a talk, not actually a talk about what to expect or, you know.
Here's our stupid
what we're
fucking
gonna
safe word.
doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and her safe word was
Might be a
ducky.
theme.
Ducky.
What?
Your safe word is
Ducky.
ducky?
Ducky. And the other girl's safe word was red, which like that's fine, like, but it was just like they weren't using like the traffic light system. It was just red.
It was just red.
It was just red. And again, the whole like, can you actually like under I don't want to go backwards, but like I don't know. Just so many things.
Well, considering it's the same author, I
Yes.
do agree that there might be a little bit of a theme there with the under negotiated kink, because also, not to backtrack, but little taste of need when it comes to like the whipping part.
Again,
She's like, yeah, I'll be spanked, I'll be whipped, but they don't talk about areas.
No.
They don't specify like strength, pain level, like,
or even like, this is what we're gonna do now. It's just a surprise. Surprise! Hi.
she's
here
tied
we
up,
are.
blindfolded in the dark. Whoopah.
Yeah. Which I just, again, that would not work for me.
Just had
Yeah,
like
I
the
can't
Puerto
jive.
Rican come out.
Yeah, no. But I thought that like they were both written. I thought the writing was fine for both of the books.
No, agreed with that. Yeah.
I just didn't love that
And now-
aspect.
Yeah, and
I
that was
did-
another like they were in love in like an hour.
Yeah, all three of them in this book.
They were just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
we're
you-
all in love.
you-
It's been an hour and a half.
we're very hormonal creatures, us women and AFABs. We will fall in love in a
Well.
heartbeat.
Okay,
I
one
mean-
thing I did like about this one with the Omegaverse, I mean, because it is like barely Omegaverse, like Like,
Right.
she goes into heat, which, okay, it was interesting. She went into heat because she was in the presence of both of her mates at the same time, which, like, forced her heat. Which I think that's an interesting concept. But then, like...
Then wouldn't she be in heat all the time?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Well, it's just,
Or
like,
just
that's
because
how,
it's
like...
the first time?
It's just the first time. Like, that's how, like,
Okay.
that's how you know
Which,
this
yeah,
is your mate.
I liked that concept. I was like, all right,
I liked that concept.
that's clever.
But then I was like, okay, but neither of them are alphas. There's no knots happening. Like, I was like all of my favorite parts of Omegaverse, I was like, I need more.
It's not
I need
Omegaverse
more.
without a knot.
It's not. Literally.
So, if we go there,
Yeah.
then is Little Taste of Need Omegaverse? Because the strap-on that she uses has a knot.
Oh,
True. But she didn't knot her.
But the woman isn't. She's not an Omega. She's not in heat. Because, like, werewolves have knots, like, different. Like, you can have knots without Omegaverse. But in my opinion, you should not have Omegaverse without knots. Like,
Are
I
there
read a
real
really
life
good
knot
book.
dildos?
Yeah, they're real. I read a really good book
I'm
called
just
A Wolf in the Garden a couple weeks ago that is like a werewolf shifter, and he has a knot, and it's not Omegaverse, and it is so good. You all should read it. I think I put it in our Discord. It's on KU.
I'll read that after the laundry pod smut.
Oh, I forgot about the laundry.
actually gonna read that?
I'm going to read that.
Oh, was that
I'm going
the
to
same
read a
author
lot of
as
his
the?
works.
Is that the same author as the mailman moth man?
I don't know.
Up the butt.
Oh, I'm not sure. I
that
never
you
read
bought?
that because I hadn't bought it yet. I need to still.
Oh,
My TBR
okay.
is too big and it's overwhelming. So all these little fun, stupid shits I want to read, I just don't have time for.
But they're
Just
short.
you know
I
what the
know.
answer to your problem is, Sarah.
Is what?
Less sleeping. You just need to sleep less,
No,
and then you
that
have
is
more
a
time to read.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I love sleep.
Oh.
I was gonna go back to Little Taste of Need.
Uh-huh.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
The snake one.
Yes.
That Kahlua hitting.
Yes, it is. Son of a bitch.
We can come back.
Yeah. It was something to do
We
with
can put some music
nodding.
over this. Da-da-da-da.
Oh, the dildo had a knot in it.
Yeah.
Although it did, but they didn't really like talk about that when she was fucking her with that strap on. Like, they mentioned that she had one with a knot, but I don't know that she actually used it.
she didn't use the knot part.
Wait.
No.
I didn't think so either.
So clarifying question, and how do you have a dildo knot? Because doesn't the knot
How?
grow?
Well, organically.
During
Yeah,
like,
but if you
during
have
sex,
a
like, you don't
dildo, you can just have it made already inflated.
does it have like an air pump
I mean,
and you
If-
like pump it up?
if we want to get really freaking technical, penises are not hard all the time, but my dildo is.
Exactly. Yeah,
Why can't the knot just be always inflated?
it is. I mean,
But-
I'm sure they make them that do inflate.
But the point of the knot is that it
IRL.
gets stuck in your vagina. So like,
Right.
so
But
you wouldn't want it from the get go, because then you won't get
But
it back out, and then you just got it stuck in you.
Most knots are like all the way inflated, I guess is the word we're gonna use. I don't like that word, but that's the word. Like,
Yeah, they're already
like
inflated.
and that gets like whoop, like pushed like into the
Yeah,
vagina when
it's
it's
inflated
Oh.
already. And then
Inflated,
it gets
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it
Yeah.
inflated at the end, like
It's like
before
a-
they
I
were
mean,
gonna come.
there
situation.
It was like a
probably
cum
are.
precursor.
Yeah, there probably are some people that write it that way, but I usually see it written the other way.
Because they have
Okay.
to wait for it to deflate to come out,
Uh-huh.
but not
Right.
to go in.
Right.
They just shove her up there.
Therein lies my
And by
confusion.
her, I mean
Exactly.
the knot. Apparently, the
Yeah.
knot is now female. I'm sorry.
There's like a notch on the
It's
inside
feminine.
I
that
made
keeps
the
it
knot.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like anatomy that keeps it in, so that it has to deflate to come out. Once it's in,
And-
it's stuck.
like Omega lore also is that like Omega anatomy is different, so that it also has like there's a
A little
cutout.
It can
side room.
expand to fit.
Yeah.
There's
like
like a
like
cliff.
Omegas do have a different shaped vagina.
This is the side room of my vagina that holds the knot.
Yes.
Here's the
much.
waiting area.
Let's go down the hall.
Have some tea, thank you. Yeah.
Who came up with Omegaverse? That's my Roman
I
Empire.
have no idea, but we should probably find out before we do our big Omegaverse episode coming up. Yeah.
So while I was getting my tattoo on Friday, my tattoo artist, like her best friend came and they were just chatting and we were talking about the podcast as things come up. And the girl who showed up was just like, man, I love the human brain. Like, the stuff that they come up with is fascinating. And so whoever came up with Omegaverse, like, that's an imagination.
Thank you,
Like,
is what
damn.
we need to say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So nobody read She Came from the Swamp, right?
Mm-mm.
Aaron.
Just
Oh,
Aaron.
Aaron did. Okay, Aaron, you'll have to talk about that later. I do want to read that one. I'll probably go back and read that one.
I do want to read that one. It was between that
Yeah.
one and the Not So Yours Truly, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. Shrek? S? Or...
We do.
Something
That's
else.
probably why Aaron read it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Swamp. That was
obviously,
such a good opportunity.
That was our intro. That was her,
It was
her cold open.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we have to go find out about the fingers. We'll have to report on that next week. Why they were pointy instead of blunt.
Yeah, who tested that out?
I would like to know. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
So, all in all, this is going to air after Valentine's Day, but we hope that...
But happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Yes.
Valentine's Day. We wanted to center women and AFAB people, and, you know, because they're awesome and we love them.
They're the best.
They are. They really are.
And
Not
we
that
still
we're...
have 2 weeks left of Sapphic February, and I
Yeah.
will continue to read Sapphic February.
I know, we gotta find some more. Reddit really came through clutch for all of these recommendations. The romance subreddit. So
Mm-hmm.
there's gotta be a monster subreddit. I need to go look at
There
that.
is.
Yeah, I'm sure
Is there?
there is.
I'll join it.
Yes.
Yeah, I will.
I can send it to you later.
So yeah, if you have any great sapphic recommendations, send them
Let
our
us
way,
know.
please. Yeah.
One that
Send 'em over.
some of us have already read. We're not discussing it fully here, but Pirate Queen of Ruin.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, true.
I need to read that
Amazing
this month.
sapphic story.
Yeah, we do need to plug that. Definitely monster, definitely sapphic. And we love
Very-
Ash.
Very
Got it.
murdery.
Oh, they are murdery. Very stabby. Very
Heck yeah.
stabby.
One of the trigger warnings is literally murder as a love language.
Which is
I'll
amazing.
take it.
Yes, we have talked about that one on the pod before, but it does bear re-mentioning. So good.
I'm going to go back to that one.
Do it. Yeah.
Give it another go.
Yes. Okay, well, I think that's all we have for today, but
That's everything.
thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. All right.
And
Well, toodaloo.
yeah. Have a
Tits
good
out.
Valentine's. We'll see you next week.
All right. Tits out.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Feral Friday podcast. Join us every Friday for unhinged shenanigans, books, games, and more. You can find us on Instagram at Feral Friday Pod. Did you know we have a website? Visit us at www.feralfridaypod.com. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like us to cover a particular book or series, please send us an email at bferal@feralfridaypod.com. Happy reading!
Feel Friday.